This Pittsburgh Steelers Najee Harris situation is getting out of control. So, I just want to talk a little bit of the Najee Harris thing, because his fifth-year option was declined by the Steelers, and that has led to many stories coming out of how the Pittsburgh Steelers are betting the under on Najee Harris, and just hoping he has a bad season, so then they're proven right. But first, before I get more into this, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Like the video. Let's get right back into it. So, Najee Harris, like I said, his fifth-year option was declined by the Steelers, meaning that he would be a free agent after the season. They could have picked up his $6.9 million fully guaranteed option for next season for another year, but no, he'll now be a free agent because they declined the option a couple days ago at the 4 p.m. Eastern deadline. So, Najee Harris, Pittsburgh Steelers. Everything you've heard from Mike Tomlin whenever talking about Najee Harris is how he's a leader and how he's done everything the Pittsburgh Steelers have wanted him to do and more on the football field and off the football field. So everything Mike Tomlin has always said has been positive about Najee Harris. And now you have reporters, you're having articles being written about how Najee Harris and the Pittsburgh Steelers, the reason why the contract wasn't accepted or the option wasn't accepted for the next season is because the Pittsburgh Steelers are hoping that he declines a little bit and then maybe they could get him back at a lower price. For example, here's a quote from NBC's Sports, Mike Florio, on the situation. I think the idea is we don't know how he's going to feel, how we're going to feel a year from now. He could physically reach his limits this year. You don't see teams bet the under with their players, but they're hedging on the side of $6.9 million is going to be a bad investment. End quote. So that comment right there really doesn't make any sense when you just look at the situation as a whole, because Najee Harris is only 26 years old. Yes, you could say running backs, they don't have a long lifespan in the NFL in terms of being at their peak, but he's only heading into his fourth NFL season, and he's still on that rookie contract. You don't see players decline on their rookie contract like that. And when you just look at the statistics, how would you even be able to say that he's going to be able to reach his physical limit? When you look at him, he's the only player, I believe, in the NFL right now with 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. And he did that to start his career. It's not like he's in his 5th, 6th NFL season, and then he all of a sudden started put up 1,000-yard seasons. He's still in his 4th year now. So he did that his first 3 years, putting up 1,000 yards. And yes, you could say 1,000 yards running is not a lot in today's NFL because it is over a 17-game season, and that average, you don't have to average a lot, but he's still the only player that did it. So if you're saying that it's easy to do, he's still the only player that has done it. And you look at Najee Harris and this contract situation, I personally believe the Steelers are going to regret it. But obviously, Omar Khan, you have to trust him because he's never made a mistake so far, I believe, in terms of what he's done. So obviously, you trust what Omar Khan's doing. But just my perspective, from what I think they're going to regret it. And the reason why I believe that is just looking at the Steelers' offensive line the last 3 seasons. Specifically, the first 2 seasons of his career, it was really bad. They couldn't run block. They couldn't lead holes for him. He just had to run for basically negative yards or just run through people. He had like the highest broken tackles in the league, I believe, like his first 2 seasons. So he had to just run through people and find space himself. The space wasn't provided for him. And then last season, it was basically the same thing to start the season, but then late towards the end of the year, we saw what he was able to do when holes were actually there. So the offense line was terrible. And if the Steelers didn't rely on him to catch the ball 10 plus times, to run the ball 20 plus times, they would lose the game his first 2 seasons in the league. But now, you look at Najee Harris, when he's splitting carries, he's still able to get over that 1,000 yards when he's splitting the carries with Jalen Warren. And now you look at this season, they completely rebuilt the offense line. So they should be much better in run blocking. They got a new tackle, and also they got a new center. And all the other guys are coming back for another year in the system, so it should be much better. And I believe they're going to regret it because they upgraded the offense line hugely. And if he was able to do all that production under a bad offense line, what is he going to be able to do under a good offense line that's actually providing the holes, and he's not just going to have to break away from tackles every single play that he runs the ball. And that's why I believe his production will go up, his yards per carry will go up, and the Steelers offense could actually do something more. So I believe they're going to regret it, but obviously Omar Khan, they're taking that risk. And also, something else I heard is $6.9 million. That's a lot for Najee Harris. Well, if you look at the rankings upon running backs, where that would put him in money earned, that would rank him 13th in the NFL, $6.9 million. So, obviously, Omar Khan, they turned it down, but that could be for another reason. That could be for a reason that we're not thinking of. Maybe an extension, they want to get that done because he is 26 years old. And instead of being 28 years old after the end of his 5th season, heading into his 6th season, and then you sign to a 4-year contract, and then he would be 32 at the end of that contract. If you sign him now to a contract, he would be around 30 to 31 years old. So it gives him an extra year or two of maybe he declines in his 30s. But then you have him under contract until he's 30 years old instead of being 32 years old. So there could be a difference there in what the Steelers are looking to do with an extension in terms of waiting until he's 32 years old until that contract is done. And also, when you just look at the statistics, we're going to take a look at the running backs that were drafted in the first round and how many of them had their 5th-year option picked up. Well, when you look at it statistically, there's not really a lot of running backs who've had that option picked up. I'm going to go through all the running backs right now with you. So, for example, Mark Ingram, New Orleans, 2011. He had his option declined. Trent Richardson, 2012. Option declined and was cut from the team. Doug Martin, Tampa Bay, 2012. Declined. Dave Wilson, Giants, 2012. It was declined as well. Also, you look at Todd Gurley. In 2015, his contract was accepted for that 5th year. Melvin Gordon, it was accepted in 2015 as well. Ezekiel Elliott, 2016, accepted. And then you look at Leonard Fournette, declined 2017. McCaffrey, it was declined as well. You look at Saquon Barkley, in 2018, it was accepted. Rashad Penny, 2018, declined. Sony Michel, 2018, declined. Josh Jacobs, 2019, declined. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 2020, declined. Najee Harris, declined. This season, Travis Etienne, accepted. So when you look at all those running backs, those are all the running backs that were drafted from 2011 to 2021. And out of 16 running backs, only 6 of them were accepted. And it was basically 5, but Christian McCaffrey's was an extension, so I'll count it as 6. So when you look at the history of the running back's 5th-year option, it's not like Najee Harris is an anomaly and that the Steelers declined it for no reason. It actually makes sense when you look at those books and you look at the numbers that those running backs were doing. And also, when you look at Najee Harris, he should actually be happy that the Pittsburgh Steelers declined this option. You know why? Well, now he won't be under contract for another 1 or 2 seasons. When you look at it, he'll be 27 at the end of this season. And then, like I said, the 5th-year option would make him 28. And usually, after that option, sometimes you get franchise tagged. So he would be 29. And the 29 age mark to 30 age mark is a cliff for running backs in which they start falling off. But now he won't have to worry about that. He'll be a free agent at the age of 27, meaning that if he signs a 3-year contract, he could still get the most out of it. And he more than likely will be making more money in terms of signing a contract than he would getting franchise tagged in the 5th-year option. So actually makes more sense for him. Obviously, unless an injury happens and he completely falls off and misses a season, then he won't get paid as much. But if that doesn't happen and he stays relatively healthy like he has his whole career, it would actually make more sense for him and it would be better that it got declined. Also, like I said, I just mentioned that. The thing with running backs are they start declining, their health starts declining. Well, Najee Harris has played in every single game in his NFL career, no matter if he was injured or not. He played in 17 games, started 17 games since his rookie season. Even when he had to play with that metal plate in his shoe and being injured, he still played and still try to help his team win. So that's a player he is. And the reason why I'm making this video is just all the talk around Najee Harris and how the Pittsburgh Steelers are just hoping that he does bad. There's no way the Steelers are just hoping that his season goes bad just so they can sign him to a new contract. That literally makes no sense. Why would you sign a player to an extension if you're hoping he does bad? That just makes no sense to sign a player who's declining that early. So obviously they want him to be productive, and maybe this is just challenging him to be more productive. In a contract year, sometimes players play greater and they stand out more because they want that next contract, so they run even harder. So maybe that's what they're doing, and they're taking that risk with Najee Harris, and maybe instead of betting on his downfall, like Mike Florio said, they're actually betting that he actually has a productive season and plays better because he is in a contract year. But anyway, this is the Najee Harris situation, and this is my thoughts on the topic. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on Najee Harris's 5th-year option and everything surrounding it. Do you think it's because a contract extension is in the mix, or do you believe they just don't want him anymore and Omar Khan is just trying to get rid of all the Kevin Colbert's picks that he did not agree with? Also, let me know your thoughts in the comments below about Jaylen Warren, and maybe he being the next running back on the roster is the reason why this is happening. Anyway, enough with that. That's the end of this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, stories, rumors, highlights, film breakdowns, everything like that. I covered it all. I'll continue to cover it all as we sign more players, as we head into training camp, minicamp, OTAs, everything like that, the regular season. And until the next video, I'll see you guys all later. I'm out. Peace.